actually start it.
Sounds good.
Okay, let me also announce that we started it again. Okay. You have my Twitch link, right? So you can keep up with the chat.
Yes.
Or should I send you?
No, I've got it. That's okay.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Let me sit into my original position.
So I like your waiting screen with Tidus.
Thank you. That's my favorite, all-time favorite game.
Yeah, I used to love it, but I never actually played it. I watched my brother play it.
Oh, really?
One of those kinds of things.
Okay, you should. It's an awesome game. Like it's a very interesting story that I shared a couple of times at my streams and with my friends too. That I so it's a very close memory to me that I'm replaying Final Fantasy X until the end, but I'm never finishing it actually because it reminds me of my childhood and my grandfather. So since I lost him when I was 12, he was very important to me, and also video games with him. So it's my legacy.
That's
not
nice.
to finish the game, just replaying every year, and at the finish line I'm always stopping, deleting my save, and replaying the game.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Okay. Hölgyek, urak, működik a hang? Jó minden? Ladies and gentlemen, is everything good? The voice of ours on both of our sides or ends, and also there's no lag. Please let us know if there is or isn't any lag. Minnie is saying that the game and also the music is so good, so awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, are you down to start?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
Welcome everyone in my very newest episode of Dev Live Show. I'm here today with the creator, with the mastermind of Botsu, which is an awesome party game. We played it not long ago on my stream, and I'm very honored and very thankful that you joined us today and you have accepted my request for this video interview of mine. And like I'm always saying, let's start with a little bit of introduction. So please introduce yourself for us.
Sure. My name's Oscar Salandin. I'm a solo developer working on Botsu, and that is Botsu Ridiculous Robots. That's the full name. This is my first game, and it's coming out sometime this summer. Is the plan, and it's nearly there. And and Remulto, you did a great stream of it the other day, which I had a lot of fun watching and hearing you laugh. Obviously, I don't speak Hungarian, but like I enjoyed hearing it, hearing the joy and seeing you play all the different games.
Thank you.
But you played it for a lot longer than I can be bothered to play it these days
really?
as well.
We are planning to play it again, so we cannot wait for the updates. We were like messing up with so much things, having fun with it. Yeah, like we were going back to our childhood with my friends.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thanks
for
your game.
That's exactly what I wanted to kind of make with the game, is like the experience of like playing games with my brother or having a friend around my house, or when I was at university as well. That kind of fun.
Nice. And you managed it and you pulled it out. So
thank you.
Nice. Okay. So for me, it's always very interesting to hear the origin stories of people, how they actually went into loving video games. So what's your story about that? What was your very first contact with video games, if you can remember?
Sure.
That?
So my first console was a Game Boy Pocket, which I had maybe when I was something like 8. I'm not sure how old.
Nice.
So it was an old black and white Game Boy, and I had Pokemon Blue on that, which I played a lot of. And there was some kind of weird Star Wars game that I could never complete. That kind of stuff. But I think the games that had a lot of influence towards Botsu were more the kind of games I was playing when in the kind of Xbox 360 era.
Okay.
I played a lot of like Halo and Just Cause. That was
nice.
Just Cause 2. That was such a good fun.
With all the explosions, right?
So good, yeah, and just all the grappling hooks and the physics, and all the things you could do. That was massively inspiring. I played a lot of Rocket League, which maybe you can see a bit of in this game.
Nice.
And I think the biggest one is probably Gang Beasts, really,
Okay.
and that's one I played at university. We used to plug in like 8 controllers into one computer because it let
Okay.
you do that for some reason, and we'd play tons of that
Nice, nice.
and just have a lot of fun playing that. Yeah,
Okay. And
yeah.
so, what made you this decision that you are not just loving games, but you would like to make games as well?
Yeah, it just quite slightly by accident, to be honest.
Okay.
I was originally planning to be a product designer,
Okay.
so making kind of physical things like consumer electronics and gadgets.
Okay.
But by the time and I studied industrial design, which is all about that. But by the time that I graduated university, all the gadgets that we used to have, like a Game Boy or like a Walkman, they'd all kind of disappeared, and you just now had like just phones, and it was just black
True.
rectangles
True.
all the way. So I made apps for a while, and after university I joined Microsoft.
Oh,
So I
nice.
worked there
Okay.
for I think about 9 years in total,
Okay. Nice.
until last year, and I worked there in Microsoft Research, building like the team was called Connected Play, so it was kind of prototypes of new ways of playing games together and games with computers,
I see.
but not like video games. It was kind of like card games with interactive mats and that kind of stuff. Um, and then
Was
from
it
there,
like Eye of the Judgment, a game called on PS3 where you had the camera and the camera scans the cards and they become real on the screen? Was it something
um,
similar to that?
I think that was kind of the concept. I mean, we never really made like a full
Okay.
game. It was more about developing the technology, like a new technology that would support those kinds of things. So we
I
had
see.
an NFC mat that was kind of A3 size, and it could detect what cards were on it.
Oh, I
So
see.
you could put your cards on there, and you could see like a dragon on the screen, like
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you lay
So
them
that
down.
that was I
Is
was
that how it
talking
is?
about. Yeah, the Eye of the Judgment game. It was very popular back on the in the PS3 era, and it
Right.
was rare. Like I think that none of the other companies managed to make a game like that. And you actually
Yeah,
like could buy physical cards. They are very rare now to
that's
find.
cool.
And there was also like a map with it wasn't a QR code. It was like something similar to QR codes, but not that. And also the funny
Okay.
thing is that you could also like print the cards with the codes which you
Oh,
could find
cool.
on the internet, and they so you could also use those if you, for example, you were a kid and you didn't have so much money to buy all the cards. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
that
very
would have been
funny.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been printing those
Yeah,
out,
yeah, yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
And was it like the iToy or something, or whatever
I
it's called,
think
the
yes,
camera?
something like that. And there was a stand for that too. So it was very interesting because you had to like put the stand into the right position of the map on the
Mhm.
card map, and then it could scan and see, at the right angle to see all the cards and
Okay.
the whole field. It was very, very nicely done, and I loved it to play
Yeah,
that game. It was so nice to see that okay, my cards coming to life. All the creatures on the cards. So yeah,
that's really cool.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, so ours was, I guess the concept was kind of similar to that. And there were other kind of scenarios with it as well, but it
I
was
see,
more about the hardware. Like it was a new controller was the idea,
I see,
and it would be like uh, instead of it being optical, like you could block it with your hands and it wouldn't detect it. It was all kind of electrical
I see,
or electromagnetic field stuff. So it could, yeah, it felt a bit more natural, but it never really took off, unfortunately.
I see.
So I worked there for a bit, and then I got a job in Microsoft Mixed Reality, which is I don't know if you've seen a Hololens, which is like a kind of, if you imagine an Oculus but like transparent,
Okay.
um, or Quest, even whatever it's called these days. It's a kind of transparent one of those, and that was really really good fun. And when I joined there, I didn't have any idea about like really how to use Unity and that kind of stuff. I had
I see.
experience designing 3D things like these like 3D products and things, but yeah, it was a new sort of field with the mixed reality stuff, and VR hadn't really taken off yet as
True,
well.
true, true.
And I'm not sure if it still has taken off fully. I don't know, but
I
hopefully
mean,
one
they
day.
are making games. A lot of companies are making games for the VR, but it's like,
Yeah,
it's not that popular. I think like
yeah,
Beat Saber is the most popular game for
yeah,
VR. Yeah,
that's good fun.
yeah.
And loads of kids seem to have it as well. I think maybe it's a slightly generational thing.
True, true, true.
Um,
It reminds
yeah,
me of me of like DJ Hero and Guitar Hero games, the rhythm
yeah,
games back in the day
that's
with the
true.
controller. you know.
Yeah, and the Wii games and stuff as well,
True,
like
true,
the
true, true,
Wii
true,
Sports. That was good
true,
fun.
true, true, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was, yeah, mixed reality, and essentially, in order to make these what are essentially 3D applications, you need to. It's 3D rendered, so you need to
I
know
see.
games technology, right? And so I kind of learned it there by accident by trying to make 3D apps, and then yeah, just got really into that, and then kind of, I think it was about 6 years I was doing that for, and then yeah, got this idea for this game, and just thought I really want to go make that. Yeah.
Okay. Was it scary for the first time to start your own project?
Yes. I mean, I've always been the kind of person who like makes little projects anyway.
Okay.
So the project wasn't so scary, but definitely leaving like the only job, like the only place I've ever worked, leaving there was pretty scary.
I see. I see.
But I mean, I've been doing so much remote working anyway that it was kind of like, well, this is now my office, so actually not that much changes. Surprisingly, like even though like you think, I think when I was working for Microsoft, it was like, oh, it's this big thing, Microsoft, and you go there and it's, you know, big buildings and like lots of people and stuff. But then after the pandemic, it was like, this is working at Microsoft, you know, just a guy at a desk. It's
I
kind of
see.
weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you regret, like, if by knowing that you are now making your own game, would you regret not doing it?
Yeah, that was the main thing that made me do it. Actually, I got to, you know, the point I was in the job, and I'd been doing the same job for quite a while,
Okay.
and I'd kind of saved up some money, so I had the ability to do it. And also, I'm engaged now and don't have any kids yet, and I'm like 30. Well, I was 30 at the time, 31 now, but it was like, if I don't do this now, like I'll never do it, and then I'll regret it in the future. Just like you're saying, I'll regret it in the future, and I don't want that. So I'll give it a go, and
Nice.
I'll probably have to go get a real job sometime.
Okay.
Uh,
Can
yeah.
you see yourself in the future making other games too? Like this could be your future career.
I would love to. Yeah.
Nice.
I think that I'd like for Botsu to be the kind of game like I don't know, Minecraft or something, where it's just continually
Okay.
updated and like
Okay.
evolves. That would be the ideal thing. But I can also see how maybe a slightly different game with similar mechanics would be good. I think if I was doing it again, I probably wouldn't make I'd probably make something that's PvE rather than PvP, because I think it's a bit easier to get it to take off.
I
And
see.
yeah, like you don't have to have people online to play it,
True.
that kind
True.
of
True.
stuff.
True. True. Yeah.
But still multiplayer, for sure.
Like for example, we don't like co-op. I guess.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Like Deep Rock Galactic is one of my favorite
Oh,
games,
nice.
and we played tons of that in lockdown. And yeah, just the fact that, I mean, yes, it has a huge community online, but if they weren't there actually, and there were only 3 other people, you wouldn't really notice.
True, true, true,
So
true, true, true.
yeah.
I got your point. Nice. I love that. I love that you're planning to bring so much future updates to the game, not just PvP but PvE for the players who are more into, you know, story stuff. Would you like to add some story too with the PvE modes?
I'm not particularly drawn to story for some
Okay.
reason.
Okay.
I think I'm the kind of person who skips the cutscenes and
Okay.
stuff. But
Don't do that. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I don't love people doing that, but it's okay. I guess.
it depends what game it is. Like Just Cause 2, I'll skip all the cutscenes.
Yeah,
Sometimes, well,
there.
most of them are
Okay,
just
that's a good
nonsense, right?
example because it's not like a very deep story, right? So
Exactly, like Halo, I'll skip the cutscenes. I don't really know what's going. I have no idea what's going on in the story of
okay.
Halo. I have to say, I still don't know. But yeah, I guess, you know, if I ever get around to playing The Last of Us or something, then
I
I'd
hope
not.
so that you won't skip the
Yeah,
cutscenes
yeah.
there because
I've been
it's an
meaning to.
important story. Yeah,
I won't skip those cutscenes. I hear they're good.
you will
Yeah,
remember me saying this, right?
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So yeah, I think maybe a story, as much as like, I really like the level of story that they have in. I'll talk about Deep Rock Galactic again. Like that, they don't have a story so much, but they have like a sort of a bit of lore and a
Yeah, the
situation,
vibe
which is,
of the lore, right? This
yeah, and like
environmental
everything they
storytelling.
say,
Yeah,
exactly
yeah,
everything they say kind of makes sense, and it makes the situation make sense. About like, they don't care about your life on the space rig or like down in the mines. They'll leave you behind.
true, true,
That's
true.
why you fail the mission. And you've got that guy who's like talking to you and is slightly condescending. I think it's quite good. Yeah, it's quite a funny game.
Okay.
So I think something like that I'd be interested in.
Okay.
But I think a sandbox game is really what I'm about for sure.
I see. So speaking
Yeah.
of updates, are you also planning like to add console versions for your game too?
Yeah, I don't really know when, unfortunately, but I mean, it was really designed as a console game because I grew up as a console gamer, and even on PC, to be honest, I mostly play with a controller. And yeah, I'd really like for it to come to, like, Xbox seems to be the one that everyone's asking for. I'm not really sure why, but I thought PS5 was the popular one at the moment, but everyone seems to be asking for Xbox. So I would really like that, and maybe
Nice.
ideally like Game Pass or something like that, and people can play it without having
Nice.
to invest in it. But yeah, definitely like to bring it to console. Ideally to like cross-platform, cross-play.
Okay. Okay.
Would be nice, because then you're not fragmenting. Like I hate it when there's some reason you can't play with someone,
True.
or
True.
like
True. True. True.
all that kind of stuff. Like, you've got a friend, they've got the
Especially
game,
these
you've got the
party
game.
games, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think just as breaking down all the barriers between people having fun, like,
True.
that's
True.
the main thing.
True. Okay. And speaking of like getting your game to other platforms, were you planning also to like add physical editions to your game, like a collector's edition? Do you know, little figurine of bots,
Yeah,
robots or robots or something
that
like
would
that?
be really cool. I think it realistically, it's probably not going to happen. I think it's probably not going. If it was a big success, then that would be really nice. I've seen some companies that will do like a one-off kind of physical edition and stuff, or
Yeah,
like
like
a
limited
small,
run games and strictly limited. Yeah.
yeah, like a small run of them,
Yeah.
which would be really fun, like just for me to have that.
True.
But
True.
then it's
True.
also like, it's a bit of a waste of plastic and stuff like that. So I'm slightly concerned about that. But mostly like I just try and get people to play it in one way or another.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but that could be fun.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So getting to a more personal question level, so were your family and close friends supportive about your decision that now we are making a game of your own?
Yeah, my mum was very scared
Okay.
when I decided to leave my job,
Did she understand
because
your choice and that you are into video
she,
games?
absolutely. I think she was like, I think what she said was something like, "Look, you're very lucky to have a job that pays well and that you enjoy,
Okay.
and like, make sure this is what you actually want to do." And she's right. The job before was great, but yeah, like, it got to the point where I have to do this now. I've always wanted to like. It used to be that I wanted to design a product or something and release it, but this is now that product, I guess. Um, but yeah, really was supportive through the whole thing, and yeah, my fiance as well was very supportive. I think we've kind of slightly delayed our wedding because of Botsu and things like that. Like, yeah, so she's been extremely understanding
Nice.
about all of that, and really supportive. And she works in like digital art as well, so she really gets it. But and my friends have been so helpful, like friends and family, like my cousins are similar age, testing the game, playing it, even when it's like, it used to not be fun at all. It used to be like, what the hell is going on? And and I mean, it is now, but like, at least slightly more, oh, I see what's going on. But yeah, they used to play even those like not fun versions, and it would crash all the time, and they're very patient. So yeah, definitely really supportive friends and family.
Do you
Yeah.
think it's important, by the way, to have supportive surroundings around you?
Yeah, as a solo dev, definitely.
Okay.
I think in my old job, like, you had people supporting you around you, and you'd have all the answers to like the questions, and you'd have a kind of safety net. Um, Being a solo developer is very like, it's quite isolating. Like, I'm here through the whole day, and I like, until my partner gets home, I might not like speak or like laugh at all, which is very weird for me because I'm quite a social person. But like, yeah, you need that support, and like, I have to make sure that I go out and see friends, and I probably bore them like talking about the game and all the problems and things. But yeah, I think, yeah, really important.
Okay. So what was the hardest part about making this game of yours?
The hardest part, um,
Or
I think,
parts?
yeah, parts. I think the hardest part for me is to make it work.
Okay.
Like the technical side, I'm not too worried about. The design side, although I've been a designer my whole career, I've had to learn the game design side of it. That was kind of quite a learning curve, like
Okay.
because fun's quite an abstract thing. But then I think the hardest bit has been getting the game seen, which and thank you for helping with that as well, because this is my hardest bit right now, because I've got no
I
clue what
think
I'm
it's
doing.
true for a lot of creators, right? So the marketing is like their most weakness, or but
Yeah,
it's a
exactly.
learning process, right? So
It is, yeah. And like I'm so used to technical problems where how do I do this? Okay, you do that. Okay, now it works, right? And with marketing stuff, it's like
it's way different.
uh, yeah, people will suggest things, and you go, okay, cool, I'll do that, and then yeah,
It won't
nothing.
work
And
that way
you know,
like
and
you
you,
want it to.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, there's no debug. I don't know why it's not working. Like I don't know what the is it something that I've like it could be anything, right?
true.
But it's very difficult to get through that. And when you put quite a lot of effort into something like a new trailer or like a new social media post or whatever, and then you don't get a lot of feedback, that's quite difficult. And yeah, I started being quite regular on the like TikTok posts and things like that. But I think the less you get back from it, the less you kind of want to do it. Oh, sorry, that's my.
It's okay.
Let me turn that back on. Oh, too hot. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I'll get that. I'll just turn it off. Still too hot. All right. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So could you get very emotional about the fact when you had like less feedback that you wanted to have?
Yeah, I think so. I think. Am I back? Hey, I'm back.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a little bit demoralizing, to be honest. I
Okay.
think, and I think that you have to be a bit delusional, I think, to make a game like this and to be like, yeah, everyone's going to love this. And
You
like,
have to believe
obviously,
in the process, right?
yeah, that's completely like unrealistic. But if you didn't think like that, you probably wouldn't make one in the first place as
True,
well.
true, true.
So, so yeah, I think it's kind of checking that delusion, and then, you know, I think if I show people the game and they play it, they tend to have fun. But I think from the outside looking at it, if you're not playing it, it's very difficult to bring people from someone who's never heard about the game to someone who has some sort of interest in it or is invested in it in some way.
Yeah, true, true.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm always discussing this topic a lot at my dev live shows, that I feel like now the problem with it is that like there are too many players who are just trend gamers, and they are like not that open-minded for trying out new games, and they are
Right.
just sticking to their, you know, favorite games, which can be a problem, because like these players are like not so passionate about games like, for example, you or me, and that's why they
Yeah.
are like cannot see the, you know, the things that they should, like they
Yeah.
want to see the games that they complain about, that oh my god, there are not enough games to play, but there are, like it's just
It's
you're
true.
not paying attention to it. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that. I feel like there aren't enough games to play. I'm right now. I don't have a game that I'm like enjoying. I've actually gone back to Just Cause 2
Okay.
last week,
Okay.
but I need to find a. I mean, maybe if you have any recommendations,
Okay,
I really
I
need to
can
find
make you like a
yeah,
list of games. I play
that'd
with
be great.
such a bunch of like
That'd be great. But
awesome games, and yeah, so many games to play. Yeah,
nice.
just few time to enjoy them. Yeah.
Yeah, hit me up. And anything like
I
that.
will I will send you a list after our
Yeah,
interview. Yeah.
and like I want to play indie games, but it's always a bit of a gamble because I think the quality varies a lot, and sometimes things will look really good but not kind of feel very fun. I think most people just play AAA games for the most part. Most of my friends only play AAA games really, or you know, maybe the most indie thing they might have played might be like Overcooked or something like that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the difficulty, right? It's getting those most games are very big things, and
True, true,
yeah, you're
true,
the little
true.
guy.
Okay, so
Yeah.
during the process of making your own game and being as a solo developer, what skills have you picked up from being a game dev to your real life, and also how have you
Oh,
changed as a person in your real life as being a developer of your own game?
Oh, that's interesting. So has it affected my? I think the main way it's affected my life is that I talk about it all the time to my friends and probably annoys them.
Okay,
Um, but I
hopefully
think
not.
it probably does. Yeah, almost definitely.
But it's passion,
Um,
right? So I hope that they
yeah,
they will get it. Yeah.
yeah, it's a rational obsession. Um, so I'm not really sure. I think maybe a bit more independence in like planning and
Okay.
things like that. I think that I used to like we'd have a project manager in my old work, and like people would give you things to do, and it's like being a lot more independent and proactive
Okay.
about how to get things done. I think the biggest difference is like the change to my work day and things like that. And like I have a very long lunch break that's like 2 or 3 hours. But then I work quite late, and that's changed my kind of lifestyle quite a lot, because it means that I kind of get a bit more exercise now, and like I can get out at lunch to go swimming, or go cycling or something like that. Um, but yeah, I think just being slightly like before, I used to be in a like a big corporation, and like completely sort of sold on that idea as that's like a really good office, and they treat you really well there, and that's all really good. But then I think now kind of just thinking about like what what work could be like, and like, do I need to be in a particular place to work? Do I need to work at any particular time? Um, and all of that. I think just questioning a lot of the kind of things that we kind of take for granted about like what work is. And yeah, definitely, I think from working for yourself, I think is the main thing. Like not having a
Okay.
boss, not needing to please anyone else, and that kind of stuff. Well,
Okay. I see. Do you think
yeah.
like by saying these things that you said now, you find yourself by making your own game?
Maybe.
Okay.
I think I'm probably mostly the same, to be honest. I think
But are
um,
you more happier with your life now of making your game?
I'd say it's ups and downs.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd say like there are moments that are really really frustrating. Like
Okay.
yeah, trying to get it seen. I think when you see there's so many kind of like dev logs, or like people talking about their dev journey. And I mean, obviously you've done many of these, and like it's good that you can see what other people are working on, but you kind of end up comparing yourself a lot as well. And then when your game isn't that popular, and like when you know how popular it needs to be to succeed, and it's not there, and you see other people, and it's like that's quite frustrating. And so I'd say those are some of the downs. But then I mean, I was at a conference last week, and we got about 300 people to play the game, not at
Okay.
the same time, but like going one by one. Oh no, it was split screen, 4 player. So
Okay.
we had 4 people playing at a time constantly for 2 days, and it was just that was like a massive high moment for me. Like I just felt so proud seeing it. Like I didn't even really do anything to it. That like I just hand people a controller and tell them this one does this does that, and they'd play. And like, I think my favorite moment from it was there were 4 people playing together that all come on at the same time, and they're all like laughing and joking with each other, and like, oh, you scored that one, oh, you nearly got that, doing all these kinds of things that people do. And then I said, all right, how long have you guys, how did you guys know each other? And oh, we don't know each other at all. Like we've just met here, and like, and then they're like laughing as if they're friends. It's kind of nice. That was really good to
Nice.
see. And there was also 2 kids who were I don't know how old they were, maybe like 7 and 9, something like
Okay.
that. And they were playing for like 3 hours at the stand,
Okay.
and that was really fun to see as well. And they were a good advert for the game.
Nice.
Like,
Love your T-shirt, by the way.
thank you. Yeah, my brother got this for me
Nice. Nice.
for my
Nice.
birthday. He got it
Special
printed.
gift. Nice. So
Yeah.
we spoke about like a lot of times about that you have perfectly captured the meaning of fun with your game. So what's the recipe behind that? How have you being able to like handle or being able to capture the meaning of fun in such a
um,
good way? Because I also played your game with my friends, and this was like I told you before our interview that it was like such a fun experience, and it really brought me back to my childhood when where I was, laughing with my friends and having fun, and not caring about like real life issues and problems. So what's the recipe behind that?
I'll leave the camera off for a moment just
Okay,
while it cools
okay.
down. But yeah, that's a good question. It's I it was slow because right at the beginning, what I wanted to make was like this kind of ultimate sandbox thing,
Okay.
and where your character is driven by physics. And I hadn't even really thought about fun at that point because it was just like that's what I want to make. And then um, people would play it, but it wasn't really a proper game. Like you could, there we go, back now. It was kind of just like, okay, here's a character and another character and like some boxes that are all physics based, and you can like pick them up, and that kind of stuff you see in like Human Fall Flat and those kinds of games. But there was no like point to it at all. And I was like, you can punch each other, and they're like, okay, this is fun, but like why? So I'd say like I know that wasn't fun. It was fun for me, but not for most people. So between there and now, I think the things that have changed are having some sort of objective to the game. So having points, having like rounds, and you win, and then like, okay, I'll get you on the next one, and that kind of thing. That was a big part of it, and I think another part was like improving the controls and the communication around what's happening in the game. I think the hardest thing at the start was that people were like, I can't get my character to do what I want because it's all quite wobbly and stuff like that. And they were like, and also I don't know what's going on. Like, why am I floating up in the air now? It's because you've been ballooned, but you don't know that. And like, I can't tell if I'm holding something. Like, I think that feeling of like, I don't know what's going on. I don't feel in control of the situation. Is kind of like still in the game, but it's also like really frustrating if it's too bad. So I'd say that's the fun was kind of like reducing the frustration and adding something to kind of work towards. Those were the main things, and that was all done within the kind of the sandbox of what I'd made. But then, like, you then had the feeling of accomplishment, and you get little things like it notices when you have like stolen a block from the other team, and like it kind of tells you, like, it's recognizing that you've done something cool. I think it's nice to like to keep you going a bit. But really, I don't know what's fun, because like for another game, it'd be so different, wouldn't it? Yeah, like a card game would be completely different in terms of fun. Like in this, it's more like I tried to do this and I failed to do that, and that was funny, for the most part.
Do you think like you managed to capture the meaning of fun because like you're also like a fun person in life, and you were very emotional and passionate about your game, that you put so
Yeah,
much love into your game that it succeed
yeah, I
with
hope
fun?
so.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Because I
I'm happy.
believe so, so that's why I'm asking
Yeah,
you what do you
right.
think
Yeah,
about that. So
thank you. Yeah,
because you're always smiling, and that's why I'm saying that you're a very cool person, smiling and
Oh,
happy. And
thank you. Yeah, I have a lot of fun when everyone is having fun.
okay.
Like if I'm in a group of people and someone's not enjoying themselves, it's not like, oh, you're not having fun, stop that. It's like I feel for them not having fun. So I want everyone to be yeah, enjoying themselves and smiling and laughing,
Okay.
to feel included. And I think that's kind of, yeah, part of the game as well. Like a lot of it was about making something that's I think I tried to make sort of like party atmosphere where it's like, the bots are like, yeah, and there's like this kind of silly music, that's kind of what I think is fun, which is like fast paced, like drum and bass, and like slightly kind of reggae elements, and like chip tunes, and like video game music, I guess, but just quite like full on. And I think just more of everything is kind of fun as well. Like I think there's too many air horns in the game, but like I think it's all right. I've got a separate slider so you can turn them down. But yeah, I think the fun is partly in the atmosphere as well. But there's not very much of it in terms of like, there's not really any characters in particular. There's there aren't any jokes. I don't think. I think maybe there's a couple of like slightly jokey things in the intro with the tutorial, but there's nothing that's like
The
meant to
skins
be
are
funny.
funny too. Don't forget
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah. I've had lots of fun making those. I pretty much just
And when you
take
climb
some
on something, you are like Spider-Man. We were,
yeah,
experimenting with that too.
yeah, that's good fun. Yeah, that was. I remember on Gang Beasts you could do that
Yeah.
when it was like quite early on. You could do that, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. Because the Spider-Man games were like my favorite
Sure.
games of all time. Like since
Very
that
nice
PS1,
games too. Yeah.
they're good fun, aren't they? Yeah.
Do you believe
Yeah.
in friendly competition, by the way?
Yeah, but only because I always lose. So like that's all.
Okay.
I can't do actual competition.
Okay.
Yeah, I also made it like so like Fall Guys has it's all against all, I think, for the most part. And I think a lot of games seem to be these days with the battle royale stuff. But I wanted it to be one team
Old
versus
school.
another, so
Old
like at
school,
least
yeah.
half the time you're going to win,
Yeah.
approximately. Yeah, so friendly competition, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I love the fact that it's finally not battle royale. I mean, I do not have problem with BR games because I play some BR games too myself, but it's like I miss these, fixed maps, or exact maps, old school multiplayer versus team
Yeah,
modes and or games. Yeah, so it was nice to see that. So as
yeah.
for speaking about music, have you done the music by yourself too?
Yes, yeah, I
Okay,
have. Yeah.
nice.
Thanks. Yeah, I used to be in bands and stuff when I was
Oh, okay.
young. So yeah, I used to play the guitar. I
Why
play
you
drums
stopped
now.
it? Why you stopped it? Because you're telling us that you used
Oh,
to.
used to.
Yeah.
I think I used to be quite good at the guitar, like not to show off, and I think what happens now is that because I used to be good at it, and when I pick it up now, I can't play everything that I used to be able to play, and it's kind of slightly frustrating. I should just enjoy it anyway. But like
But
I used to.
it's not like what people forget. So it's knowledge. It's like musical knowledge. You won't forget it. It's just you have to practice
Yeah,
a bit, and it will get back to you, right?
it's true. Yeah, like I used to play. Like I was really into metal and like finding the hardest things to play. Like
Nice.
I think Master of Puppets was like the one that if I can play the whole of Master of Puppets and the solos and stuff, then
The
I'm still
homework
alright.
for you from me after this interview that you have to get back to music again.
Yeah, yeah.
I will check on you about that.
I think also it's because I got more into electronic music
Okay.
and drum and bass in particular. Like there's
Okay.
a big drum and bass scene in London here, and when I was at university, I started working in Ableton. So not working, but like making music in Ableton.
I see.
And because I'm so into computers, that was quite kind of fun for me. So that's how I've been doing most of my music now. But like, I think for me, it's very separate making the music for Botsu, which is all extremely electronic. Like there's no real sounds in there at all. And then like playing my acoustic guitar or something is like a very different. It's the kind of like go out and touch grass kind of thing for me. Like
I can
to
see you
play my.
making story games with cutscenes.
Yeah,
With your
that's
guitar
me
playing the
playing my
music,
guitar.
yeah. Exactly.
Let
Some
me
Last
tell
of
you a
Us vibes,
story.
yeah. And we won't be able to skip it. You will do an option for
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Every time you press skip, it'll say, "Oh no, no."
No, you can't do that. It's just for the creator.
Yeah, I have like a different silly line every
Yeah,
time you try and skip
exactly. The horn sound,
it.
from bots.
Or you could change the animation when they're trying to skip it, so that
True.
they like the person's like, "Hey, are you not interested? What is this?"
True.
I haven't
Okay.
seen a game do that yet.
So as speaking about your future and making other games, if you will get to a point when you can say that okay, I updated my first game Botsu with a lot of updates, and now I'm planning
Yeah.
to like make a new game. What's path will you choose? Like what type of game would you make?
Sorry, it's gone
It's
off
okay. It's
again.
okay.
But
It's okay. It's okay.
that's okay. I'll leave it off for a minute.
It's like true. Like you became a robot.
This is my face now.
Yeah.
I
You're true to
think
your
that what
game.
I go for. Sorry.
You're true to your game, right?
Yeah. Colorful. Far too many
Yeah.
colors.
True.
I think it might work now. There we go. Sorry. So the question was about next game and
Yeah,
what I
and what
might
kind of game
make
would
with
you
that
like
next.
to do? Yeah, or
I
make?
would
Yeah.
love to make like a kind of superhero type game,
Okay.
because like Spider-Man is like my favorite video game
Okay.
that's single player. I love that feeling of like moving around in a kind of smooth way,
Okay.
which is done in Spider-Man, and also Just Cause as well. Is like he's basically a superhero.
True.
Like
True.
everyone shoots him and nothing
Has the
happens. And
freedom of doing
I
almost everything. Yeah.
exactly. So I'd love to make a superhero style game, maybe something where you can kind of like create your own
Have you
superhero.
played Crackdown? Because you mentioned that you have been playing on Xbox. Crackdown was also very similar to like Just Cause games.
I haven't actually played Crackdown.
Okay.
I've seen footage of it, but
Yeah.
I haven't played it. No, I mean that's quite physics based as well. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Mm.
Yeah. You had the freedom of almost like blowing up everything and shooting
Yeah,
everything. Like, yeah,
that's what I'd love to do. To
it's
have like
fun,
a big
right? So it's just fun.
exactly. Yeah, I'd love to have like a big city where you're some sort of local superhero.
Okay.
Maybe you're not a very good one. I don't know. And it would all be physics based, just like Botsu, because I think that's kind of something slightly unique that I'm bringing. And I'd love to do proper destruction. Like if you've seen Teardown, the voxel game, stuff like that, where you can just kind of blow anything up or build stuff. And maybe you could go on little missions with 3 friends or something, and you
I
go
see.
and
I see.
do catch
That
catch
sounds so much fun.
drug cartel. I don't know, yeah, something like that. But I like the idea of having like physics based stuff, and
Okay.
most like all of the good superheroes are physics based essentially. Like
True.
they're not really shooting anyone. They're all
True.
like hitting them or like throwing people or like flying. So I think it could be quite a good fit for something like that. And I don't know if I'd go for voxel style again, but maybe. Yeah.
Okay. And will it be hard for you to write a story? What do you think about that? Is it a skill that you have to pick up, or?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I
Okay.
think maybe I could get some help from someone else with that. I think if I was starting another game, it might be nice to work with another person as well.
Okay.
But yeah, I think maybe, and just enough story that it's like that Deep Rock Galactic level of like a situation, and you're not a specific person. You're a like an RPG, I guess.
I see.
That
You
would be
the
nice.
player yourself is the character, I guess. The main
Yeah, I think
protagonist.
that'd be fun. Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Um, yeah. How about you? What have you been playing recently? I saw you had
So many games, story
yeah.
games, indie games, bigger games. I started playing like Multiversus Season 2 ranked because I'm pretty much into multiverses. Also,
All
like
right.
I'm a Fortnite guy.
Right.
To be honest, I play with all games. So like I
Yeah.
said, I'm passionate about trying out new games, seeing the refresh, experiences that players or creators can offer. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty much into multiplayer games as well and story
Yeah.
games. For multiplayer games, I love like the very fast paced ones, so that's why
Yeah.
I also enjoyed your game, that it's very
Oh, thanks.
fast and frenetic. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Multiversus looks cool. I haven't played that
It
yet,
is, it
but
is, it is, it is. I just missed that like in the open beta it was way faster, and now they like had
really.
this, yeah, when they relaunched the game like in May, end of the May.
Mm.
They made it like a bit slower. It's not that even it's slower, but like they had this update for the game in which like characters move sets are like have more frames after you input the
Okay.
exact moves, so it's like you're stuck on the screen after the move. It's like so
Yeah.
weird that in my mind I want to smash buttons or mash buttons faster and hit the combos, but I
Yeah.
have to wait. So it's so
Yeah.
weird. But yeah, it's
Do
like
you think
more of like the pace of like uh, what's that game called on Switch?
Smash, is it?
Smash, yeah, Smash,
Yeah,
Smash,
it
yeah,
looks very
yeah.
smashy.
It's more of that, but still not happily not that slow. But yeah, I'm enjoying my time. I just
That's
can't
cool.
stand the campy players, because I want to
Really.
go fast all in, and yeah.
Yeah. Does that make it more campy then if they're like every time you hit, you have more open time afterwards? You probably camp more, maybe? I don't know. Like
Yeah,
how's
and
how's it changed
yeah,
that?
and now the developers changed it that if you are camping too much. Like there's a timer for campers, and
Oh,
you're
right.
not regaining your dash. So
Right.
yeah,
And
just
how do they decide that you're camping? Is it like if you don't hit them or something?
I think that there is like an like the game say inputs you with a, I don't know, sentence that stop camping or
Mhm.
something like that, and
Right.
your dash meter is not replenishing only if you
Okay.
attack. Yeah, yeah,
It's interesting those like things that you have to put into games to
yeah.
kind of like guardrails to stop people
True,
doing
true, true.
overpowered
Yeah,
behaviors,
it's
right?
very. By the way, it's very weird to see that. I think like so. I feel like as a player, on one hand, I understand the developers that those developers who are making multiplayer-oriented games, their goal is to like make games for everyone, which is
Mm.
understandable. I always say this example of Fortnite that they managed to, bring their game to the wider audience for
Yeah.
almost everyone to be enjoyable. But I feel like there can be like a very like hard time with that for other developers that they are willing to take the first step to make something similar in case of this, because like for example mentioning the game called Finals, which is an FPS game.
Yeah, that looks great.
uh it's
I mean,
it's like
graphically, it looks great.
it's like such an awesome game with destruction and fast-paced action, and but still
Mm.
they managed to like nerf the slide cancel and also the slide. Like now you can only slide 2 times, and after that your character will like stop sliding or will slide very slow. And
Mhm.
at the beginning of season 1 you could like slide how many times you wanted, and you could just spam jump slide, jump slide, jump slide, and you were
Yeah.
so fast with it. And I think that these developers of these games are taking away these chances of like being so fast, because like they want to give the opportunity for more casual players
Mm.
to enjoy the game, which I understand on one hand, but me as a player who is more into like being, all crazy, all in, tactical, but be very fast. Okay, here is one. I shut him
Yeah.
down, and on the left side, and very quick, like frenetic action
Mm.
based games. And I love that still, like even if I'm being 31 almost, but I love those
Yeah.
games. And yeah, and I don't know. It's weird for me to see that some developers are willing to sacrifice these type of experiences
Yeah.
for those players who are not willing to learn
Yeah.
or get these skills of theirs to be able to be better at games. And I feel like that's the problem. I'm always saying that on one hand it's good that now gaming become a trend where
Mhm.
like almost everyone is playing games. Like for me it's so
Yeah.
weird. When I was a kid it was like everyone got bullied for playing games, and now like it's like a
Really. Yeah.
trend. And
Yeah.
but the other hand I see it's a problem also, because you cannot have a good conversation with a lot of people about games because they do not understand games, they are not
Yeah.
passionate enough to talk about games. Like you mentioned, like you love games
Yeah.
and you talk about them, and people will like,
Yeah.
okay, stop it. And I can
Yeah.
see that too. Like if I'm passionate about a game I like and I love, and I'm talking too much about it, like people are like turning around and go out from the room, and it's like so bad or
Yeah.
and so sad experience. And I can relate to that. Yeah, so yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my friends are actually more into games than I am.
Okay.
I'm like I'm into games, but I'm not good at them.
Okay.
And I've got
You're
like
still
one
having
friend.
fun and you are making fun games, so
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, I've spent a lot more time making them. Well, making one game than playing. But
Okay.
uh, I still need to find my next game. But one of my best friends is like he used to be like a pro Call of Duty player,
Okay.
and another friend, like he can sometimes beat this guy, and then there's just me, and I can't like any first person shooter, like I can't come anywhere close. So
Okay.
it's quite frustrating.
But it's
Um,
not that bad, I think. Like it's not a goal for everyone to be like a pro gamer, right? So even if
exactly.
you have fun with the game, it's what at the
It's
end
good
of
when
the
you're on their
day
team.
matters. Yeah, they can carry you, right? Especially
Yeah,
if it's a more person based or a more team based game. It's not just one versus one player
yeah, definitely.
oriented.
And actually, I've had an issue in Botsu that's kind of similar to what you're talking about, where it's like the thing that people want to do is like a winning tactic, and it's to so in there's the 3 game modes, but in the box ball game mode, which is kind of the football thing, there was kind of 2 problems which I'm trying to solve. One is that if everyone just grabs the ball, that's kind of a winning tactic. Well, not winning tactic. It just makes a total stalemate because 3 people are pulling that way, 3 people pulling that way.
Yeah.
It doesn't go anywhere. So I introduced a timer so that after someone's holding it, it goes beep 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 and then explodes.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, for me, that's more fun than saying like stop holding the ball.
True. It's like similar when in the finals that I mentioned the game, there is like an orbital laser thing where
cool.
if you camp too much, then a big laser, blue laser, will come down from the sky and will almost instantly kill you. And like
that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's
and that's
like,
kind of within the lore of the game as well.
Yeah, true. That's
like
what I wanted to say. It's a lore. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's nice how they've done that. Yeah.
So it's pretty similar to your idea that you can get yourself blown out, from the arena.
Yeah, like rather than like, oh,
just
don't do
saying,
that. Like,
something that you shouldn't do this or that. Yeah, exactly. It's part of fun, right?
Yeah. The difficult one at the moment for me is that people like, I recently changed the flying in it, and the flying used to be very difficult to control. And now it's like it's slightly too easy to control because now if you pick up the ball, you can just fly straight into the goal before the timer goes off. So I had to introduce this kind of like traveling rule, a bit like in basketball, where you can't like hold it and walk with it for too far. But it's it has stopped people doing the dive bomb technique, which just like people just do that and you can't block it, and it was too easy to do as well. But yeah, it's I need to do some more work on that as well, because I think maybe you found as well that sometimes the ball explodes and you're like not really sure why, and then you're on the floor with no limbs, and it's a bit silly.
You have to recollect them, yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll keep improving it for sure.
Okay. What was your favorite part, by the way, about making Botsu?
About making the game, I think the best bits are just seeing people play it, to be honest. Like I there was a time when I used to really enjoy playing it myself. I don't enjoy it that much myself anymore, but I really like seeing people pull off moves, especially when they pull off new moves that I wasn't like planning for. Yeah, like there's a map called Bridge Roll where there's kind of sections to a bridge and it rolls.
Okay.
And I made it so that if you grab onto the bridge thing, then it'll kind of roll over and eventually you'll just fall into the lava. But what I didn't think of is that there's a point on that rolling thing where it doesn't move. So if you jump off the edge and grab on there, even if it rolls, you're still in the same place.
Oh,
okay. Yeah. And I saw someone doing that, and then this is on a stream actually. I got quite a good clip of it. They were doing that, and I was like, "Where? I've thought I've won now. What's going on?" and then there's someone down there, and I was like, "Oh god, they're down there." And I jumped off and like just kicked them off into the lava, and then so like at least it wasn't like a balancing issue, because you can still do that. And then on the next round, I went and jumped down and tried to do the same thing, because I'm thinking like, oh, how easy is that to do? I did that same thing, and then this same person was the other team, last person left, and then they did the same thing as me and jumped and tried to kick me, and then lunged with the kick towards me, but then I jumped, and then they just went straight into the lava. And so like having these little like one-on-one people online is really fun.
These are memories forever, right?
Yeah, totally. I think maybe my favorite one actually is I'm sorry about the camera.
No, it's okay.
My favorite one was that when I'd first put the demo online, so there were people coming to play it. There was like a bug where if I exited a match and I was hosting it, random people would just come into your like home space, like the bit where you kind of with the train and stuff.
Okay.
And it was just weird because we were there, and I was stood there, and there's this person there, and I was kind of thinking like, what are you doing here? And then like you can't talk to each other or anything in the game, but I was there thinking, what is this? And like, how can I wish I could talk to this person, because they don't know that this is my game. I'm just like a random person to them. And then I thought, well, let's see what they want to do. And then there's like a button where you can like cheer at them. So I cheered at them, and like there's some little things you can do in the home space. And I was like, I was watching them play it, and I was like, oh, they actually know like how to play this game. And they did stuff like without talking or anything, we had a game of here we call it donkey. It's like the skating trick game where you do something and then you see if the other person can do it. And so it'd be like I was just one-on-one with this person, and I just like did a flip, and then they'd do a flip, and I was like, okay, you've got that worked out. And then it's like do a headstand, and then they'd do a headstand, and then they get bored and punch you. And so yeah, it was a fun experience. So seeing, yeah, just kind of communicating with someone without really communicating. Yeah, that was the first time. That was really good fun. For me, that was definitely like the best memory from like early on when it was when the demo was live.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you also managed to make a very nice lobby to your game, and it's very nice to see that the matchmaking starts with the train, you know, getting the players to the trains. It's also like a very good idea in my opinion. You can see like a lot of examples to this, like very similar things. So it was, I think you like I said before, you managed to understand what fun is and what like refreshing experiences are. And I also think like you really, since you grew up in the old school era of video games, and you enjoyed and like honored these times of these games,
definitely
you really got to a point where you could understand at the back of your brain how to make your own game fun. And it's important. And it's important in my opinion.
Definitely. And like I've seen so many games that I've played split screen or like with other people, and there's that social element of like, how do you decide on what the next match is, or like who gets to control something.
At the end of the day, it's important. Like people are not noticing how important it is, but like it's way more important in some cases, because like there are a lot of games, actually multiplayer games, where you have to decide which map you would like to have, and it just, you know, click, you know, you just have to choose, like you would choose on a test at the high school, you know. And it's like it's boring to see all these, you know, solutions to this question, let's say. And then you manage to do that as well. Like there is like, you know, courses, and you have to stand there with your friends in order to choose, and it's awesome. And you also can punch each other during that time, so still have fun. If you don't want somebody to choose that, you can, you know, take away them from that course. So it's also like brings more fun to the game, and I think that matters at the end of the day, because like it's more like you we're talking about that it's more like connection, not just to your game but to each other as video players, even if you don't know them. Like you told your experience and your favorite story.
Exactly. And a lot of those things are kind of counterintuitive, or like they're things that other game developers have told me I shouldn't be doing. Like when I made that menu for, I mean, it's not a menu, it's kind of, I don't know what it is, but it's a bit where you select the next map. There's 3 bits. I think people said like, oh, maybe you should just press A to vote on something, or like for instance, like as you said, you can punch each other and you can drag people into a different bit if you really want
to help them.
Help them
and choose.
And those, I mean, that's, for me, it was just like, I'll just drop your players in there and they can do all the normal things that the players can do. And people said to me like, oh yeah, you'll have to turn off all the fighting in that, because otherwise it would be chaos. And I was just thinking, yeah, it might end up with you ending up with not the match that you wanted, but if it was funny, then like it's worth it. And you'll remember that as the time, like, oh, we had to play that same match 3 times in a row because we never won the fight for that. And
somebody pulled me in for the same match just to rematch.
Exactly. We had one guy on our Discord who only wants to play basketball, and he just vote for that every single time. So it'd be like that.
He could punch everyone into the basketball mode, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think the main thing was I just wanted for there always to be something that you can do, and so that there aren't many moments where you don't have like a character to control, like something to punch, or and stuff like that. Like I think the only moment where you can't control anything is when you're receiving your rewards at the end of the game, and you get the unlocks and stuff. Maybe I'll be able to make something that you can do in that at the same time.
You can choose with the arm, right? something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So speaking of like future updates, what other updates have you on your mind? We talked about like the PvE updates that you mentioned, but what updates are there that you could
Yeah,
mention? And
yeah.
it's
I
not
think the
spoiler.
PV. Yeah, the PvE was more like if I was going to make a game again, I probably would have chosen
Okay.
PvE over
Okay.
PvP. Um, I don't expect to have a PvE update, although like maybe a zombie mode or something fun.
Okay.
But I think for the kind of more realistic things that I want to do, there's the near term stuff like more costumes, more stuff to
Okay.
unlock, more silly ones, and there would be like more gadgets is something I really want to do because
Okay.
there's 4 at the moment, which isn't enough for me. I've got tons of ideas for more gadgets. Um, more more locations would be good. So part of the way that I've made this game is, God, it's gone off again. Part of the way that I've made this game, or like the main way that I've made this game is that it's everything can be combined with everything
Okay.
other than the game modes. So you've got like different costumes that you can use in any game mode, and you've got different gadgets that you can use in any game mode, and that they all kind of multiply together to make loads and loads of different. Like you've only got 3 game modes. I think there's actually 20 maps now, 40 costumes,
It's a lot, by the way.
and 4 gadgets. Yeah, it is. Yeah, but it's like like the combinations are so many more than that. Do you know what I mean? Like even with a few in the demo, like the combinations is quite a few things that you can have, and like with the costumes as well, it's that combination thing of like there's only 40 costumes, but because you can have individual different head, body, legs, arms, there's like a million different potential combinations and things like that. So I think I just want to keep adding more combinations, really, like more gadgets, more arenas. I'd eventually like to add some more game modes and stuff. But I think further, like I'd like to do it in kind of season themed updates. That
Okay.
seems to be the thing to do. Like I could have I don't know, like an ancient update, and there's like a Stonehenge map and like
Nice.
stone botsus with moss on them and stuff like that. And
Nice.
maybe there's like some sort of different game mode or like different version of stockpile where you've got to drag big obelisks or something like that. I'd like to do some kind of themed things. I think that'd be quite fun. But in the really long term, what I'd like to do is to do UGC, like user generated content,
Okay.
because I know that I'm not very good at making like maps or like arenas, and there's probably people who will come up with far more interesting ones than I will, for sure.
Okay.
Like I like making systems and things that interact with each other, but making like an actual set thing, I'm not so good at. So yeah, it'd be very interesting to see what
I think your
people do.
maps are great, so don't say that.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot less going on in my maps than maybe like, Fall Guys. They're really fun, and
Yeah,
like
but I
they've got
think
loads
that
of
you
wacky.
don't have to. You told me that you are willing to, or you are down to compare yourself to other games and other
Yeah, that's
developers.
true.
But
Yeah.
that's the case, that you should learn not to do that, because you will always be the person who can get very emotional and sad about like
Yeah.
the lack of like people playing your game, because you will feel like you are not good enough, which is not true, because your game is fun and refreshing experience, like I told you. So that's
Oh, that's
that's
nice
that's
to
what
hear.
matters. And yeah, I hope that a lot of players will see your game and play it. And I
I
will
really
try to
hope. So.
promote it as
Yeah,
well for you. I'm not a good promoter, I can tell you that, but
you're better than
I will
me.
try.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe,
yeah, yeah.
hopefully, yeah,
Yeah, you've done well. No.
hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so. And like I think the key thing with all of the content for me is that it's all quite low fidelity,
Okay,
and doesn't take that long to make. Like a new costume for Botsu probably only takes about 3 hours
okay,
in total to make, because it's like you can't add more detail because the blocks are this size. So I can't keep working at it. And like the maps, they're all quite blocky and quite simple. Like so, I can't keep adding little like there's no detail in the game, right? So I think for me, it's more like if I have an idea of, oh, what if there's one with a 2 towers and a pool? Okay, that's just like a pool is a big cube, tower is a big cube. I'll give that a go, and then I can normally try it within an hour or two. So I'd like for other people to have that experience as well of like making stuff and trying it. But yeah, it's on to the next phase now, really, which is like there's something that people can play and is fun and has variety, but finding an audience now, I think, will be the really difficult part.
And you talked about like user-generated content. How would you restrict that people cannot do very silly things with their maps?
Yeah, I think it's going to be difficult. I don't know, because I mean, there's all sorts of symbols you can make with cubes and like that you don't want people making like straight away with
very weird things, not family friendly ones.
No, exactly. And I think that's going to be the difficult thing, and I have to think about that with everything, because it's a game that is going to have kids in it, and I hope we'll have kids in it. And my friend's niece plays it and she really enjoys it, and I think you've got to keep them safe, right? And
True.
So many games, and from talking to parents, like they'll either be concerned on the games being like full of guns and violence, like GTA or whatever, or even Fortnite has, like guns in it, right?
True.
And or they'll be concerned about like people online, and so partly by not having, like, partly just for the sake of scope. I don't have like chat in there or anything like that. There's no
that's
voice
what
chat.
I wanted to ask you with you talking about this. So that's why you chose like not to have voice chat in your game, so people cannot be toxic to each other. I mean, they still can by doing this and that, but
but like you don't get the sentiment of it. Like someone can be like punching you, but it's all like
part of the fun, right? You will never know that they hit you like with intention or
exactly. Like it's hard to be scared of someone that's dressed as a banana. Like
true.
So I mean, obviously, like a game doesn't have those things by default, and you have to add them in. But so that's part of the reason they're not there. But it's also a conscious decision to keep kids safe on there. And if you want to chat, you can. I use Discord for chatting with friends, and there's some public Discord things in the Botsu Discord where you can like find a match and play with other people and chat to them.
Nice.
But yeah, it's a difficult thing, and it'll be really difficult to work out how to keep it safe for people. I'll have to do lots of research to see what other games do. But hopefully someday. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so before we go into questions from the stream, closing question, how you decided to have like robots like as for main heroes into your game, and you became a robot again. I love that.
I had to put on my robot face for this.
I just had to say the word.
Yeah. The main reason was that I wanted to cover up the animations being very robotic. So the animations in Botsu are all procedural, so there's no kind of it's the absolute opposite end to motion capture in terms of how I've put what they're doing, but then there's the physics that makes it a little bit more realistic. And if I had like I've got a 3D scan of myself, and I've been meaning to, and so I wanted to put the 3D scan of myself onto like a Botsu character, so then you've got this quite realistic looking person with these like stupid movements, but I imagine it'll look awful. So I mean, the main reason, as I say, was to cover up the bad animations, but in the end it worked quite well, because you don't worry about a robot getting hurt as much, and there's no blood, and their arms can fall off and it's not a problem. So it's worked out quite well with the robot. I think the difficulty is that giving personality to them is quite difficult as well. Like for a long time, the robots all looked exactly the same pretty much, and I thought there was kind of variation, and they were like slightly different. They looked more like different versions of Iron Man suits, so like all basically the same, but like different little bits. And yeah, I think just kind of stumbled upon it by chance, because of the animation thing, as I say, and it just happened to fit really. Again, for kids, like you're not in danger if you're a robot.
True.
It makes it a bit more family friendly.
And I love your attitude of like you like being aware of this situation about the problem with this internet and toxic people, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I try to stay off it as much as possible. Yeah.
yeah, people can be very scary on the internet, not just on the internet, but especially the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could
Much
talk
much
about that a
more
lot,
in.
but I'm not
Yeah.
getting into that because we would be sitting here for like, I don't know, 1 year or so. And
Yeah.
I'm
Fair
sure
enough.
that you have your own stories about that too. So yeah,
Yeah.
but
Definitely.
thanks for that, because I appreciate that your attitude about like games is so refreshing to hear, and having
Oh, that's
having
nice.
so much fun. Are you down to
Oh,
answer
thank
some
you.
questions from the stream?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay,
Sounds good.
let's go into that. Nice. Okay, so anyone who has any question uh, about the game or about the topics we discussed, let us know. Let us know, or let's see what questions do you have.
I'm seeing a few familiar names in there.
Let me watch back the chat if there was any questions that we missed. Oh yeah, there was a question. Love the Botsu t-shirt. When is merch dropping?
I don't know. When there's a market for it, I guess. Yeah, I ought to work that out. I need to make sure they're good t-shirts though, because I mean this one's good, but this you got all those services where you order them and then they come and then they just like they all come off and stuff.
Not the best quality, right?
When I can find a good quality one, I
Yeah.
think that's the answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, Minnie is asking some questions. First question is when we
Sure.
are going to have the chance to play with you. It's a good
Oh
question.
yeah.
We
Whenever
should
you
we
like.
should play
Yeah, I'm up for
together.
that.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd really enjoy that.
Okay, nice. Let us know. Let's do that
Yeah, we see
sometime.
how good you guys are.
Okay, and so the other question is, so from where came the idea of the movement and the graphics of your game?
Yeah, so the movement was largely based on Gang Beasts,
Okay.
and if you haven't played Gang Beasts, it's all physics driven, and it's like you can grab things and you can punch people.
Okay.
And then I kind of wanted to make something a bit like that,
Okay.
and then ended up making something that I think maybe a little bit more complicated than that now. It's quite an old game now, but the main difference is that there's kind of more realistic proportions with these characters, so they're more like kind of athletes that can like run and jump and flip and stuff, rather than a lot of these other ragdoll games are quite like like drunk kind of things. So yeah, that's kind of where that came from, and just lots of iteration. And the voxel kind of cube art style, I don't, I'm not really sure where that came from. I think because Teardown hadn't come out when I started, or had it? No, I think I hadn't seen Teardown at that point
Okay.
when I started playing it. Or someone showed me. Someone sent after I posted maybe my first TikTok post. Everyone was like, "That looks like Clone Drone in the Danger Zone," and then I was like, "I don't know that game. Let's have a look." I was like, "Oh my god, it's like it's like very similar." So actually, it was kind of independent of that, but ended up being quite similar. But the real reason for it is that I can't do proper character modeling.
Okay.
Like I'm more of a technical and designer person.
Okay.
So I think when you're making an indie game, especially on, I think you've got to just pick your battles. And so I was like, I'm not going to pick that battle. I'm not going to have to like do lots of skin textures or like do lots of like triangles and stuff. I'm not going to have to like skin the textures and like make everything, all the elbows bend and stuff. Like they're just things that rotate like in a quite simple way. So really it was just about making it as easy for myself to make new costumes and that kind of stuff as possible, and also not knowing enough about it as well. Like I did that because I didn't know how to model. I wasn't really familiar with that kind of stuff. So yeah, kind of a few different reasons there.
Okay, I see. Thank you.
No problem.
Oh yeah, and the music, how you invented or composed the music.
Yeah.
How
How did I come up with that? I think I started playing on. I've got these. They're these things.
the camera went off offline.
That's exactly the
Perfect
one time I
timing.
need the camera. Okay. Well, I've imagine I'm not going to be able to describe these things. Well, I've got these little synthesizers that
Okay.
they look like calculators, but
Okay.
they're synthesizers, and they
Oh,
I
with a
was
lot of
given them,
buttons, right?
yeah, and
Okay.
they were given to me by a friend that I used to work with when I
They're
left.
called drum pads or something similar, right?
Like that, but they're really small.
Okay.
Hopefully my camera will come on in a minute.
Okay.
But they're called Pocket Operators
Okay.
by Teenage Engineering, and they make these kind of very simplistic sounds, and they're kind of, they sound like video game music to begin with. And so I started making some things on there. I really like all the kind of like chip tune 8-bit kind of music sounds, and also like I used to play music that kind of like I love listening to reggae. That's like ultimate chill music for me,
Okay.
and it's just like happy, good vibes. And I think similar to some of the other things we talked about, it was about making something that is just pure positive music. There's no like dark. Most music you make is in like a minor key, but I'm all the Botsu music's in major key because it just makes me feel happy. And so like there's a lot of like ragga jungle music that's kind of like in the major key. It's kind of inspired by that. And that's quite a big thing in London as well. That kind of music, and yeah, it's just feel good music, and then with the video game sounds as well.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Thank
so a
you.
few different influences. Oh, and there they are.
Oh,
There's a
nice.
third
They
one.
really look like calculators.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're made by this company, Teenage Engineering,
Okay.
who make really nice hardware, and like it actually just comes as like a circuit board like this,
Oh my god, nice.
and yeah, proper like nerdy stuff that I really like. And I mean, they design some really nice instruments, like synthesizers and things, but yeah, just got really into these.
I can see you like making Botsu for like an arcade machine, because
Yeah, that'd be
I
cool.
totally can tell that you're loving your gadgets, and not just in your
Yeah,
game but in real life, right? So
you should
like
you should
imagine
see my.
making your game for like your own, I don't know, arcade machine. Seeing
That would
that
be
that
awesome.
would that would be so cool. Split
I could
screen
totally see it.
version.
Yeah, split screen, and like the cabinet could be like blue and orange on like one side and the other side.
Or VR, and you can actually punch. There was a
Yeah, yeah.
PlayStation 2 game, I remember it. I'm not sure what was the name of the game, but I
Mhm.
remember that Sony had to like get off from the market because they said that that game was like not for kids and not
Oh,
like
really?
for adults either, because like it was, so it had like this method of like you put on your gloves to your arm, and it was like shocking you with real shocking effects, and
Yeah.
it was like so weird to
Wow.
experience, and it was like sometimes even painful. I had that too. I still have
Really?
those gloves uh, at
So it
my home.
wasn't
So
even
yeah,
like, oh, I can feel something. It was more just like, ah.
no, it was like um, how to say it in English. It was like when you are going to a treatment with your back, and they put little things to your back and they are shocking you with these little shocks, and it was pretty similar. Like if you
Yeah.
put your gloves not in the correct way, or your arm was too small or too tight,
Yeah.
it could shock you in like a very painful way, and I think that's
Wow.
why Sony blocked that game from the market, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it
I
was
think that was
very
the right
interesting
decision.
to see that when you're getting punched, then you're getting
Yeah.
shocked in real life. So it was like, yeah, it can be the future. I can see that in
It
the
could be.
future.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like you could probably make people like move that, like you
true,
get
true,
if you
true.
shock them, it
Yeah,
moves
yeah,
the
like
arm, right?
interactive VR, and it's
Yeah.
very interesting to see that back then all these ideas like were real, And some companies like Sony have been experimenting with these ideas. Like I told you about the card game, like I have the Judgment idea too. It's just, I think that most most people weren't into kind of these games around that time, because games were in general were more like uh, let's say nerdy stuff, people who get bullied at school for playing games, but we still loved our hobby or passion to do. And I remember that's why those games which had this holders, figurine holders, where you had to put your figurines and
like
statues to
the
the holder,
like
and they
amiibo kind
scanned
of
it.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. And it you could play with those characters on screen. They had like this. Um, I can't recall the name of the franchise. There were more. There was like Lego Dimensions also, where you
Oh
could
yeah,
build up a Lego figurine, and you could
yeah.
also put on a code generator, stand, and you had your original stand, the main
Hmm.
stand, the main story stand. So it was very nice. It just did not get any attention, I think. Like only
Yeah.
hardcore fans play those games. But yeah,
Yeah,
they
it's difficult when you need like dedicated hardware to play a
true, true,
game. Like
true,
it's just
true,
a big barrier.
true,
And like almost most of my career has been like working on those kinds of things where it's like doing something weird with hardware and all of that. And like I really like VR, and like I've worked in VR and XR for like a while. But I have to say it's really refreshing making something where you don't have to put a headset on and you
true,
don't have to
true,
like set up 5 different things to like all connect to each other.
true, true.
Um, it's a lot more like just straightforward and easy. But like, yeah, hopefully someday like all the VR stuff will just become a bit more normal and
I think
like
that controller like games will never die out, in my opinion. I'm more of a
yeah.
controller guy too. I'm not really into like keyboard and mouse. I was when I
Mm,
was a kid, but like I switched to controller, and I don't know. I just couldn't see myself, you know, using
yeah,
other stuff to play games than the
totally. And
controller.
like if it's fun now, it should be fun in the future because
True, true, exactly.
we'll still be people. And
Our kids
I
will play, right?
sorry?
Our kids will play too.
I hope
We will
so, yeah.
teach them to understand and to respect the controller.
Yeah. Although I went back and played GoldenEye recently. I
Oh,
remember being
nice.
really good, but I was like, "Oh, this doesn't feel right at all." I think it was in that weird era where person controls yet, and it was like turn, like it was very weird, and I was like, "Oh, I can't quite do." But yeah, I think some things will age strangely, but then you've got arcade machines
True.
that are still really fun, right?
They're coming back again to their golden era. I
Yeah,
feel like a lot of countries are picking up again these arcade machines and trying to
yeah.
program new games for those too.
It must have been a fun era to work in.
True.
Like imagine if like the only way for me to build a computer for someone to play it on and like put a cabinet somewhere. Like I'd really enjoy that, to be honest. Maybe I should do that.
True.
But
I can see that. I told you, like I can
yeah,
see that, like having your game in an arcade machine. Yeah, I can see
that'd be
that.
great
Yeah,
fun. There's an arcade kind of pub down the road, so maybe I can have a chat with them.
nice.
But yeah, I mean, maybe that's a more realistic way to do it because that's essentially what I was doing at
And
the
it's also a
conference.
promotion, right? So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like you can play this at home, and it was exactly like that at the conference. It was really fun. Like it was essentially like an arcade kind of
true,
stand.
true, true, true. Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. Okay, okay. Let us know. Let us know if there is any more question, or there are any more questions. Oh yeah, I missed what Didier said. Didier said that your game is very good, and he loved playing with us your game. Nice. Yeah, he was also the one. Mini, Didier, and Magni
Nice.
were the ones who played together with me. Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I've got I started seeing the streams. I was like, oh, they're all like all 4 of them. Like, I might see if I can like do a split screen thing and watch them all at the same time. Like, so we
Yeah,
get
there
all
is
of the
like a
chat.
multi-Twitch version if you
Oh,
go live, and you can put all the channel names after like the URL code. Yeah,
okay, nice.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll give that a go.
yeah.
So I'm in robot mode again.
No, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Hölgyek, urak, bármi kérdés? Oh, Monkey Mel? Am I pronouncing your name right? My favorite indie developer. Thank you for saying that. Nice, and thank you for the follow. Thank you.
That's nice. I used to work with Mel.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she's a streamer too. She's good fun.
Oh, nice. Let me give her a follow. Nice.
Yeah.
Hölgyek, urak, bármi más kérdés? Any more questions? Let us know. I'm watching back the chat. See if there was any question that I have might missed. Hopefully not, but if there is, let us know. Bár más kérdés, hölgyek, urak? Petya, DDR, többiek? Let us know. Sorry. And as for going to the skins, what other skins would you like to add? Like, what type of skins are you planning to add?
That's a good question. I've got an enormous list that I can find, but like, what would you want to see while I find the list?
I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. So many good things could be added. Like,
Yeah.
I love Christmas and Halloween, especially
Yeah.
Halloween.
I'd love to do a themed one with like snowmen, like deer with the antlers could be fun. All of that
So
kind
like
of stuff.
a skeleton skin, vampire skin, you know.
Yeah,
This
vampire's
pumpkin
good
skin
one.
also, yeah.
Yeah. I've got my list here. So I've got like a Shakespeare skin, which is quite specific, but someone asked for that. So I think it'd be quite fun to have like the big rough thing that's like but square. I've got like a basketball player, like an American football player. There's quite a few sports ones that people are asking for. Like a university scholar with a mortarboard, the square hat. What else we've got? Like Roman centurion. Like doctors, nurses, paramedics. Someone wanted my friend who's really into hiking, a hiker with an enormous rucksack. So that could be kind of fun. What else is there? I think there's a lot of animal ones.
Okay.
I think the thing with making these costumes is that you like. I'd love to make also, like Multiversus, they can use whatever they want. Like they've got so much to draw on, and I'd love to make like Bugs Bunny or like Spider-Man or whatever. And I kind of did make a Spider-Man one, not to release, but just for a video, just for fun. And I was like, oh, that's so fun. I wish I could do that.
Nice.
But like obviously you can only work with like public domain thing.
You have to get the rights to use the skins, yeah.
Yeah, and so like animals are a classic one for games that work really well. Obviously, no one owns the rights for that at the moment. So, but then there's other games like I don't know if you've seen Party Animals.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I also played. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good fun game. But like, I don't want to just make all the same animals as them, right?
I see.
So I've been avoiding the animal one a little bit. Like, there's a few animals, but I've been going for like different costumes that people would dress up as, like as at Halloween, like as kids and stuff.
Okay, love that.
That's kind of what I've been going for.
Okay, nice. Vlad is asking team flags, maybe. Add it
team flags, like capture the flag, is that?
No, like I think like for skins. Team flags like for skins.
That could be a good idea. Yeah, it's difficult to tell. I guess. Yeah. It's difficult to tell which team people are on sometimes. Like, I could see a flag working quite well, and you have the physics in the wind and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe
you can also grab by the flag, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
fun,
yeah. I really wanted to add like something where you got to steal something from other people. Like is it called
Capture the Flag?
There's Capture the Flag, but like I think it's called like touch rugby or not touch rugby, tag rugby, something like that. Where people have to wear like a bit of like a handkerchief coming out the back of their trousers, or maybe a few of them, and you have to take them off of people.
Oh, okay.
And so I think something you could wrestle off of people, and then you've got like maybe then you know, let's say we all start with 2, then I take 1 from you. Now I've got 3. But then if someone beats me, then they can take all. That kind of stuff could be quite fun.
Nice.
There was a game we used. It's not even really a game, but called, I think it was just called Pocket, where we all had a school uniform and you had a top pocket, and people would rip off your top pocket and put it in their top pocket, and then they'd steal other people's top pockets. All the parents hated this because they'd have to get new shirts or sew them back on.
Sounds weird and funny at the same time.
Yeah, but like I like that idea of like everyone's got one and you can gather them, and it's about how many you can gather.
Okay. Love that. Okay.
That could be good to go.
Bár más kérdés, hölgyek, urak? Any more questions? Let us know. Let us know. Let us know. Let me read back the chat if I miss any more questions. there is not it's not a question, it's more of like show us your cats.
Okay. I'll get the cats. I'll tell you what, while the camera is cooling down, I'll grab the cats.
Okay. Bár más kérdés, hölgyek, urak? Any more questions? Let us know. Oh, nice.
There we are. There's one of them. This one's called Rudy.
Okay.
He's pretty big.
He's the biggest fan of your game, right?
Yeah. Is there anything you want to say? No. He's quite sleepy at the moment. I've interrupted sleep.
Nice.
But he's a good cat. He's a ragdoll. He's just chill. happy to just chill here. There's another one. I don't know where she's gone. Xeno is the other name of the other cat.
Okay.
Let's see if we can get a close up on the cats here. If I do that, maybe.
So cute.
He's quite grumpy. There's a character in one of the bots in the game is called Grump, and it's just
okay.
It's his face.
Okay.
Kind of as a cat.
Okay.
But yeah, the other one is nowhere to be seen.
Minnie is asking about the age of the cats.
He's 2 years. Yeah, okay. Just over 2. They're the 2 cats are twins.
Oh, okay, nice.
It's a boy and a girl.
Nice.
And yeah, they're quite. He's actually surprisingly relaxed at the moment. He's normally like, "Where's the food? Where's the
the best life of theirs, right? Yeah. Of animals, yeah, nice.
No, but it's good. I mean, it's such a stereotype, isn't it? Gamers and game developers having cats, but it's nice because I've got a cardboard box here that one of them normally sits in while I'm working, and it's nice to have some company.
Yeah. Minnie is saying that you have to give them some present or some gift after this this show of ours that they were in, like as appreciation of.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Vlad is asking. I think that we talked about it. That are there any plans to add more modes and arenas? But yeah, we were talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to have some more arenas. I'll take suggestions for arenas as well. You know, I'd like to have one where I think the basketball one was a suggestion from someone.
Oh, nice.
And more modes for sure. I think a King of the Hill mode should be quite fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I have a prototype of that. It's quite satisfying because it's kind of like the it's a lot like sumo in a way. Like if you're on a platform and you got to knock people off, but it's a bit more continuous.
Okay.
A bit more continuous. Because
no, it's okay. It's okay, Vlad. It's okay.
That's right.
Thank you
I
for
also
that, by
know
the way.
Vlad. Thanks for the question, Vlad. But yeah, it's I think there could be so many more things. I think the thing about this, the game isn't the modes, and
Okay.
it's not the fact that there are goals and you score. The game is the characters that you're controlling, and the fact that you can do these moves and then they're applied to any game mode. And that's kind of why I've chosen to make it kind of mostly sport type game modes, because it's more like you're a person and you've got control of one person, and then you can, and then there are like all sorts of different things that you can play, and like almost all sports are kind of a physics based thing. Like it's either about grabbing other people or grabbing an object and taking it somewhere, so it's, or like throwing it. So it's all that kind of stuff, and like, especially contact sports. And there's all kinds of weird sports around the world
True,
that
true,
like
true, true. That we
that
don't
people
even know
play.
about, right? But it is sports, and
Exactly.
they're playing it like for money too. Like it's so weird to see
Yeah.
some sports. I even
Like I saw one sport that was like there's people. It's called Bosa ball, I think, and it's like
Okay.
it's like volleyball, but they're on trampolines,
Oh, okay.
inflatable thing. It looks ridiculous, but like I'd love to put that in. Or like I saw one game where there's like you have to drag a goat from one end of, it's like football, but the ball is a goat and they're on horses, and it looks like terrifying. I can't remember what country that's in, but there's all sorts of, and kabaddi as well is quite an interesting one where you have to like go to the other team and steal someone from their team, but you have to hold your breath while
Okay.
you're doing it, which is why it's called kabaddi, because it's, I think, an Indian game, and you have to say kabaddi, 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 kabaddi to prove that you're holding your breath. So maybe something like that, where maybe one of the players is the, and you have to pick them up and put them in the goal. I think that would be quite fun.
Nice.
And
Okay.
there's loads of modifiers as well that people are suggesting. I think because of that game, is it called Chained or Unchained or something?
And chain together or something, or
Chained
chain
together.
together. Yeah, chain together. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone suggested like, what if all the people on a team are chained together, or like have a tether,
Okay.
like a grapple together? That could be a fun modifier, or like a mode where you've only got one leg, but like a modifier, because you could apply that to any of the game modes.
True. True.
Like
True.
Sumo with just one leg.
And it's also a good
No arm.
randomizer, right? So
Sorry.
it's also a good randomizer, so people won't get bored if they have been playing like for 1K hour and.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean that's it's all about the variety for me,
True. True.
and
True.
people
True.
going, "Ooh, what's this going to be like?"
True.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Nice. Okay. Vlad is asking, are there skill based bots that are going to be introduced, or like a different power based on your skin?
Different power. I don't know if you heard that, but there's. I'm not sure about based on skins.
Okay.
I think I want to keep everyone having like the same abilities, so that
Okay.
it's kind of fair. There's kind of subtle things at the moment, like if you've got a giraffe, then they've got a longer neck and their head can get hit by, there's a spinning map and they get hit by
Yeah.
that. But it's all quite minor stuff.
Okay.
But I think I just want to keep it quite like you want to be able to upgrade things by how people, like you unlock something that you can use, like you want gadgets or something like that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, then it's like the better you are, and
True.
and it
It's
makes it
like
quite
it would be
unfair.
unfair for
Yeah, but I
casual
could
players.
see maybe like a within a match, perhaps, like how you have gun game. Do you know that one?
Yeah. In
Yeah,
FPS games mostly. Yeah.
yeah. You could have something like that with gadgets or something. Like if you get someone in, then you get a balloon gadget and you get
Okay.
a grappling hook, and something like that.
Nice.
But I like the fact that it all kind of resets at the end, and like after the match, none of it really mattered. A bit like, I don't know, The Simpsons. Episode's over, you start a new.
True. And you still will keep your memories about it because it was a fun time, right? To experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
But maybe for this future game, like maybe for a something that's PvE, you can have that,
Okay.
because there's no like competitive advantage.
Okay. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe hide and seek. Gergőcs is asking.
Yeah, I've had a few suggestions. It's a difficult one for me because with hide and seek, like the thing I've learned is that what the game is fun when people are together and all physically interacting with each other. And I feel like hide and seek is something that, and prop hunt is a really good fun one if you've seen that. That is really good fun, but you can kind of and so if there's something I could think of that was like a slightly physics twist on that, then I think that would be good fun. But I thought about it, and it would be like, well, you'd be running around. Maybe the fact that you can grab onto things and climb and all of that would make it kind of interesting. And maybe you could hide behind things if you. But yeah, difficult one. And then also making it fun to be hiding, because I guess if you stood still for quite a while, perhaps. But maybe that's kind of fun. Or maybe like is it called 40-40? I think was the game that we used to play in the playground, where it was like, I can't really remember the rules, but it was a bit like hide and seek. If you were hiding, you weren't just staying still, you had to get somewhere without getting caught. So maybe that something like that could be a better fit for it, perhaps. And then I like the element of like, then you become the person who has to look for people as well, so you're not just waiting.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, but that's a good idea, hide and seek, yeah.
And yeah, Gergőcs also mentioned the possibility of battle royale mode where people like, you know,
all
their own.
Yeah, I should try that. I think I should do a prototype of that, because I think it could, especially with sumo.
Yeah,
that's the Gang Beasts style
nice.
Game, isn't it? Yeah.
Nice. Okay, let us know if there is any more questions. Let us know. Let us know. Hölgyek, urak, hogyha bármi kérdés van, nyugodtan kérdeztek. Let me watch back the chat if there was anything I missed. Bármi más kérdés, hölgyek, urak? Any more questions? Okay. Player generated maps. Yeah, that was also a topic to discuss. Yeah.
Yeah, one day, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the plans.
Yeah.
Can you think of a topic that we haven't discussed and you would like to mention?
No, not especially. No. Yeah, but I mean, I'd love to play a game with you. I think that'd be good fun.
Okay, let's do that. Let's set it up sometime. Yeah, I'm down to that.
That sounds good. You guys, from watching the stream, it looks like you guys are quite good at it. So
no,
that'd be
we were just having fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. It's okay, Vlad. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Also, Vlad, make sure if you missed it, you will be able to like watch it back. I will save the VOD and I will post it in my Twitter as well. So yeah, make sure that don't forget to watch back if you missed it. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, let us know. Let us know. I will. Yeah, sure, Vlad. Yeah. Let us know if there is any more questions, and if not, then we will have to say goodbye here. But you will see us play the game together as well, and I hope that we will meet in the future again about your new updates of the game or of another game, because I'm very interested about the topic that you have talked about, that you would do a superhero oriented game. So it's like
one day, hopefully.
One thing I would like to see. Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah. Well, no, this has been really good fun. It's
thank you.
It's the first one of these. It's the first one of these I've done.
Oh, nice.
With an interview like this.
But hopefully it will also help you, grow. I hope that, and I'm sure that you will have success. It's just the marketing, which is the evil thing for us creators, right?
Yeah. Does everyone say that on your dev life thing?
Yeah,
Are they
it
all like
is. It is true.
marketing?
It is true. It is true. Everyone
Yeah,
says that because I feel like those people who are more into like making their own crafts, they are not
yeah,
focused on selling it, even if they are wanting to maybe sell it. But that's not
yeah,
their main goal. It's more of like give their soul to the people and the messages that they
yeah,
want to have put into the game and for players to experience. And when they are
yeah,
doing their craft, they are not or do not have the time that much, or the focus not goes to that point that they
yeah,
want to market their game. Yeah,
definitely.
but it's a
Yeah,
learning process, I guess. So we are
it
not
is. Yeah,
late on that.
yeah.
Learning it for a
Hopefully,
better.
it'll be easier for the second game
True, 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 true,
if
true.
I get that far.
Yeah. Okay. No more questions, ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls on the stream. Let me know. Hölgyek, urak. Bármi más kérdés? Last chance to ask. But you will be able to ask any question on Discord too. So if you are not part of the Discord, let me know, and then you can also join, any of you. So yeah.
Great. Maybe you could teach me how to say thank you and goodbye. And
Thank you is köszönöm szépen.
köszönöm szépen.
Yeah, and goodbye, right?
Mm-hmm.
Goodbye. So goodbye is like okay. Goodbye is like sziasztok, let's say.
Sziasztok. Is that
Sziasztok.
right?
Köszönöm szépen, sziasztok, yeah.
Okay, so if I said
Köszönöm szépen.
köszönöm szépen
Nice. Perfect. Perfect. And sziasztok.
and sziasztok. So
Nice.
köszönöm szépen and sziasztok.
Love that.
Well,
Thank you,
thank you.
guys and girls, for being here. Thank you. Thank you. Bye
Yeah,
bye.
thank you so much.
Thank you. And don't forget to wish us the game. Promoting. We will end
Please do.
the stream
Yes.
with this. Don't forget to
And
wish
there's a
us the
free demo.
true,
Free
true,
demo you
true.
can play.
Try it out.
Multiplayer.
Play together with your friends and maybe with the creator with some time. True. Thank you. Bye bye, everyone.
Thanks so
Have
much,
fun.
Remulto. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.